Hello, it's Jay here again and welcome to another tutorial. So in this lesson we're going to add a bit more code to the display options and hopefully get things up and working. And just thinking about this, let's open up the game manager script and yes. So in game manager we have this line here. Adjusted FOV value is equal to field of view. So we can cut that. And let's just paste that into our void start. So let's just save off there. And let's have a look here. So where we have player prefs, underneath we're going to say player prefs dot save, and this will allow us to keep our values once we actually exit the game and come back to it. So we'll say just save the player prefs. And we also need to add another line, but I'm just going to save that off first, and I'm going to come down here, going to create another C# script. Let's call this camera modifier. Okay, let's open up that new script. So in the void start we're going to say camera dot main dot, and we want field of view, obviously. We're going to say equal game manager dot underscore adjusted FOV. Into the comments we'll say set main cameras FOV to the adjusted FOV, and I'm going to come here below the void update. Let's create of type public static void, and we use static here just because we're going to reference it from another script. We're going to say adjust camera, open and close brackets, open and close again, and we're going to copy and paste the same line in. And obviously we will have more code for this script later, but for now we're just going to save that off. So why is it in both? Well, quite simple. This, once the scene loads, obviously it's going to set the camera's FOV to the correct value, what we've chosen. And if we then, while the game is running, if we adjust the FOV again, because we're going to have it where you can access the options from in-game, not just at the main menu screen from there, we can then call this function to readjust to a new value if necessary. So let's come to display options, and I'll put this above player prefs. So we're going to say camera modifier, that's the name of the script we've just created. We're going to say dot adjust camera, the name of the function we've just created, open and close brackets, close that line off. Into the comments we'll say call, and we'll just say this function from the camera modifier script. So let's save that off. I know I've clicked save all, but I'd just like to do that just to make sure that everything is saved. Everything is correct. So let's come to game world. So here we go. So obviously I'll attach it to this camera to begin with. Obviously we're going to have our FPS controller spawn into the scene at a later date, but this is just for testing. So let's move the camera modifier script onto the camera. You must make sure it's tagged as main camera. And let's have a look. So here, field of view is 60. That's the default. So come back to the splash screen, remembering to save off. And let's hit play and we'll test this out. So we'll just wait for it to run through. So we'll come to options now. And it should. Here we go, 79. This is because I was experimenting earlier. If we come back, as you can see, the value is saved. So 75 now, back. And let's try coming all the way down to 60. As you can see, if I try and go further, I cannot do. So we're now, the actual code that stops us going below our minimum is now working. It also works for the maximum, but that's going to take too long to go through. We'll probably do that later. So let's set a value. Let's say 75. We'll return to the main menu. We'll hit start. And we'll just let the level load up. So at this point, I'm going to shrink the window back down. We'll come to our main camera. And as you can see, our field of view has now been altered to 75, which was the value we set. Let's stop that there. We just start this back up. And in case you're wondering why I've been experimenting on this one, it's because there's been quite a few updates to Unity, so I ran through this just to sort out any problems the script may have if I needed to update it, which I did, just a couple of little tweaks. And we're back working now. If we come to options now, so stop the game, started it back up, and as you can see, it's saved our value of 75. We'll stop that there. Now, we will add code to reset the options back to their default setting as well. So we're going to have that in place. But there's lots of other things to get done in the options menu. So let's move on to those. We'll get everything in place and then we'll start to polish the script up. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope to see you next time. And until then, as always, bye for now.